I'd like to show you another example of string heddles. This is on the Ojibwa loom, and I have green duct tape holding the warp in place at the end. I have tension stick at the top and at the bottom. This is what I'm using as a roll bar, and there are 62 warp threads and 31 string heddles. And I want to show you how this works a little better than the example the other day. So when you put the roll bar up, you get that much of a shed. Then when you put the roll bar down, push it out of the way, you have to, and this will be a little harder to do with one hand, you pull the heddles up and get the same opening. Now the Ojibwa loom is technically a bead loom, and what I want to mention, so right now it's set up what it looks like for fabric, but you can also do beads like this. And the company that makes Mirix looms, M-I-R-R-I-X, I think it is, talks about a method of Heddle bead weaving. And what you do then is, instead of threading the beads and holding them in place in between the warp threads and then rethreading them, you use a regular Heddle loom setup. You put the beads through, pop them into their place, switch the shed, put the beads through, pop them into their place. And your weaving with the sheds holds all the beads in place. So that also can be done with this Ojibwa loom as opposed to the copper Mirix looms. So this is a very versatile loom. I had taken the 2-foot dowels off, and this piece is on 36-inch dowels, so it's about 3 feet long, and it's going to be kind of like a banner, a wall hanging to hold some bead weavings. So I may do it in hand-spun cotton and have a white background, or I may do it in blue acrylic and have a blue background for the bead weaving. That will make the bead weavings pop off a little bit more, I think, than the white. The green, especially if I use worsted weight blue acrylic, will all but disappear, but it'll still be there as an accent. So I really suggest that if you can, you find an Ojibwa loom. It's very versatile. You can weave fabric, beads. You can do different types of warping. This is warped just for the front. And one thing I want to note, when you warp this loom, you tie a knot on one of the end of the posts. You go, there are slots here, you put your warp into the slot, you go to the other end, around a post, and come back up. And when you get about halfway in the middle, you start using the other post. Now, because of that, I find it difficult to do a figure-8 warping, because the warp threads are already divided up there, and if you do a figure-8 warping, you end up with everything crossing at the top there where that tension stick is, and it just makes it more difficult. It's easier, if you're only going to warp the front of this loom, to just go back and forth top to bottom, and then take a stick and go through over and under, and create your 2 sheds. The Ojibwa Bead Loom.